Hey there, all you theater nerds and nerdettes. Welcome back to Broadway by Ghostlight. I'm Mark Bonanni, and this is episode 14 of Broadway Jeopardy. I have 26 all-new clues and 5 new categories this week, including the final Jeopardy round. I am so happy to bring you a brand new episode of Broadway Jeopardy every Thursday, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you're subscribed so you won't miss an episode. There's some fun categories this week, one of which came as a surprise to me, but more on that in a bit. Let's get to this week's game. This is Broadway Jeopardy! Taking a look at the categories in store for y'all this week, we of course start off with last week's final Jeopardy category, which was New Jersey, looking at musicals set in the Garden State. Then it's high school musicals, looking at different shows set in high school. That's followed by fake musicals, looking at different, sadly fake musicals featured in movies or TV shows. Then it's Biblical Broadway, looking at shows based on stories from the Bible. And we end with Cast Party. So, I was recently sent a copy of the party game Cast Party by its very sweet and generous creator, Maggie Spence, which was just so thoughtful. I have never really had people send me things. It was very exciting. Anyways, Cast Party is a musical theater trivia game with 400 questions. If you like Broadway Jeopardy, you're gonna love Cast Party too. And this is not sponsored or anything. There's no monetary gains happening here. Maggie was just kind enough to send me the game and said I could even use some questions in an upcoming Broadway Jeopardy episode, and I loved it so much I thought, why not do a whole category with it? So all the questions in the Cast Party category come from this amazing game, only slightly tweaked to make it Jeopardy style, because, you know, that's the box I've placed myself into, I guess. We of course start with the $200 round, what I call the overture round, where the questions should be pretty easy to help you drum up some fake dough before we get to the more difficult questions. Let's begin in the state of New Jersey. Your first $200 clue is, this 2006 musical set in Richfield, New Jersey, is based on the now classic rom-com of the same name, starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. What is The Wedding Singer? I was a big fan of the musical version of The Wedding Singer, not just because I had a big crush on Felicia Finley, who played the ex-girlfriend Linda. Hey look, it's me backstage at the show! I was much skinnier then. Anyways, The Wedding Singer was the Broadway debut score for Matthew Sklar and Ched Bagelin, who would go on to write Elf the Musical and The Prom. Moving on to the high school musicals category, the $200 clue is, this 2017 Best Musical winner featured Ben Platt in the cast. Literally. What is Dear Evan Hansen is the correct answer. It's pretty wild to me how this musical was so loved and was such a big deal when it premiered in 2017 to now with the sort of backlash it's received. I mean, I'm sure it still has a ton of fans, but I can't think of another show with such a big old whiplash of appreciation back and forth. Let's take in a fake musical for $200. Your clue is, in an iconic episode of The Simpsons, Marge stars as Blanche DuBois in Oh Streetcar, a musical version of A Streetcar Named Desire, with this neighborly Simpsons character playing Stanley Kowalski. Who is Ned Flanders? I mean, how could I have a fake musical category without at least one entry from The Simpsons? They've had so many great fake musicals throughout the years, like Stop the Planet of the Apes, I Want to Get Off.
I hate every ape I see, from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
But my favorite has to be Oh Streetcar from season 4 of the long-running series.
Whoever you are, I have always depended on the kindness of strangers.
You can always depend on the kindness of strangers to buck up your spirit and shield you from danger.
Over in Biblical Broadway, your $200 clue is, after Jesus Christ Superstar, Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber revisited the Bible with this long-titled musical that contains the songs Close Every Door and Any Dream Will Do. What is Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat? See, I told you it was long-titled. I mean, the little yellow box takes up like the whole screen. Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat started life before Jesus Christ Superstar, actually, in 1968 at a prep school in London. But then it was only 15 minutes long. It was expanded to 35 minutes in 1971 for the Edinburgh International Festival. The full version of the musical finally premiered in 1974, but it wouldn't hit Broadway until 1982.
Behold, the Technicolor Dreamcoat. Wow, spectacular.
Let's finish up the overture round with Cast Party. The $200 clue is, this many minutes are in a year, as noted in the song from Rent. What is
525,600 minutes?
Yes, 525,600 minutes. I think every theater kid probably knows how many minutes are in a year, thanks to that song. Bravo if you got that one right. In Cast Party, when you get a question right, you get the Bravo card. Bravo, everybody. I hope you got at least most of the questions right in that first round. Let's move on to the only slightly harder $400 round. We start back at New Jersey. The $400 clue is, this 2023 Tony winner for Best Musical, with a score by Janine Tesori and David Lindsay-Abaire, is about a family who lives in Bergen County, New Jersey, after they quickly had to relocate from Lodi, New Jersey, for nefarious reasons. What is Kimberly Akimbo is the right answer. The musical is based on the play of the same name by David Lindsay-Abaire, who wrote the book and lyrics for the musical. It starred Bonnie Milligan, one of my favorite people ever, as Aunt Deborah, and the great Victoria Clark in the title role of Kim. Both women won the Tony for their work on the show. A national tour of the musical is going out soon, starring Carolee Carmello in the Kim role. I would love to see her in the show. If you can go see it, if it's coming to your area, go see it and let me know how it is. Moving on to the High School Musicals category, your $400 clue is, in this musical, based on the popular film series, you'll watch the Truman High cheerleading squad battle the squad from Jackson High School at Nationals. What is Bring It On? The musical by Lin-Manuel Miranda, Tom Kitt, and Amanda Green holds the record for the most Broadway debuts in modern history. Of its 35 cast members, 30 were on Broadway for the very first time, including future Tony winner Adrienne Warren and future Oscar winner Ariana DeBose. Over at Fake Musicals, the $400 clue is, in this film, you'll find the musical Red, White, and Blaine, directed and choreographed by Corky St. Clair. What is Waiting for Guffman is the correct answer. The 1996 comedy masterpiece, directed by Christopher Guest, is a hilarious and often picture-perfect look into small-town community theater. And it's legitimately one of the funniest movies about theater ever made. If you haven't seen it, after this, go watch it. What's wrong with you? You've never seen Waiting for Guffman? Go do it! Seriously though, just kidding, but go watch it.
He's offered me the chance to audition for his new Broadway show, which is a revival of My Fair Lady. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And the role is of Henry Higgins, the somewhat stern taskmaster, but he really likes her anyway kind of thing guy, who teaches Liza how to speak correctly. And she, of course, is of the Cockney persuasion and drops her H's. And I've been working on that at home, the whole Cockney thing of, hello, how are you? Do you want to go to Artford? Not live in this, L-O, and that kind of thing. And I think I'm honing in on it pretty close now.
Let's look at some things you're liable to read in the Bible with biblical musicals. The $400 clue is, This biblical musical by Stephen Schwartz typically depicts Jesus and his disciples as hippies and features the song Day by Day. What is Godspell is the answer. Well, many musicals have had legendary original Broadway casts or original London casts. Godspell had an absolutely bonkers original Canadian cast. Are you ready for this? In the original Canadian cast of Godspell, before any of them were stars, was Victor Garber, who would go from this production to the film version of Godspell, Martin Short, Eugene Levy, Gilda Radner, Andrea Martin, Dave Thomas, and Paul Schaefer. I mean, what? How incredible would it have been to have seen that cast of future legends? There's actually a documentary about that famed 1972 production being produced by Judd Apatow that's set to release next year, and I'm very much looking forward to it as a musical theater and a comedy nerd. And finishing out the $400 round now with my new favorite game, Cast Party. The clue is, this musical requires the use of coconut halves for sound effect. What is Spamalot? The musical version of Monty Python and the Holy Grail was a huge hit when it premiered in 2005. I worked merch actually for the Broadway show for years, and I did a stint on the first national tour. And the amount of coconuts I've had to retie would astound you. We sold the coconut halves. Actually, just for you guys, I dug out some of my original Spamalot merch coconut halves. They're actually hilariously labeled left and right. Can you see it? Left and right. There's the Spamalot. It even gives instructions. If you don't know the show for some reason, the very funny musical uses coconuts to simulate horse hooves, like so. Still got it. Years of demonstrating those coconuts. Let's kick off the $600 round in the state of New Jersey. Your clue is, in suburban New Jersey, young Josh Baskin attends a carnival where he makes a fateful wish on this machine in the musical Big. What is Zoltar Speaks is the correct answer. I'll give you full points if you just said Zoltar. That's good enough for me. Just as in the famous film the musical is based on, 12-year-old Josh is denied going on a carnival ride for being too short, and he's embarrassed and runs off where he finds the mysterious Zoltar Speaks machine, and he makes the memorable wish.
I wish I were big.
Let's go back to class with High School Musicals. The $600 clue is, in Mean Girls, a trio of female students rules North Shore High School with an iron fist. They're nicknamed this. What is the Plastics? According to the musical, they're called the Plastics because they're shiny, fake, and hard. The original trio was Taylor Louderman, Kate Rockwell, and Ashley Park. Renee Rapp replaced Louderman and also played Regina George in the film version of the musical.
Shut up. Shut up. I didn't say anything.
And see, North Shore Lions, North Shore High School from Mean Girls the Musical. See, I bet some of you thought I wasn't wearing a musical theater shirt this week. How wrong you were.
What a maroon.
The $600 clue for the fake musicals category is, this 1992 dark comedy film opens with Meryl Streep as Madeline Ashton performing in Songbird, a musical version of Sweet Bird of Youth. What is Death Becomes Her? An iconic comedy with incredible special effects, even to this day, really incredible work. I can't wait to see how they pull off the stunts in the upcoming musical version coming to Broadway next month now, I guess, October 23rd. It's coming up. Next up for biblical musicals, the $600 clue is, the first part of this 1960s three-act musical tells the story of Adam and Eve and starred Alan Alda and Barbara Harris in a Tony-winning role. What is The Apple Tree? The 1966 musical by the legendary team of Jerry Bach and Sheldon Harnick is three little playlets with minimal connections between them. The first part is based on The Diary of Adam and Eve by Mark Twain. The second is the tale of The Lady or the Tiger. And the third is based on Passionella by Jules Feiffer, a Cinderella-type story about a poor chimney sweep turned into a glamorous movie star. The number where the chimney sweep first sees herself as a glamorous person is a memorable song here performed by Barbara Harris on that year's Tony Awards.
They see such stains and tar, they'd see how old they are if I could only be a movie star. Look at me, I am gone. I am absolutely gone. There's an avalanche of beauty in one woman and I'm it.
And the final $600 clue comes from the cast party category. It's, in a chorus line, this is where Sheila, Bibi, and Maggie feel beautiful, pretty, and happy. What is At the Ballet is the answer. Composer Marvin Hamlish had said that the song really set the tone for all the music in that show. Once that song was written, he said, the creators understood the shape and color of the piece as a whole.
Yes, everyone is beautiful at the ballet. I was pretty at the ballet.
All right, my friends, it's time to really crank up the difficulty with the $800 round. But before we do, please take just a second and hit that like button if you're enjoying the game and doing well. And if you're not doing well, still hit that like button. It takes just a second from you, but it really helps these videos appease that almighty YouTube algorithm. But also, makes me feel all warm and gooey inside. Okay. Here goes the harder questions. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Now a warning?
I just wanted to throw that clip in there. Taking the turnpike into New Jersey, the $800 clue is Kander and Ebb's Steel Pier takes place during the Depression, where we find ourselves on the titular Steel Pier, a real-life iconic location in this famed New Jersey city. What is Atlantic City is the answer. The Steel Pier at Atlantic City opened in 1898 and was once dubbed the showplace of the nation and featured horse diving, which I'll always remember from the Disney movie Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, if anyone's seen that. For more information about the musical Steel Pier, I have a whole breakdown of it on the channel. I'll put a link at the end of this video to that one so you can watch that next. Up next in the high school musicals category, your $800 clue is, in Greece, Danny and Sandy get separated at a Rydell High dance, and Danny begins dancing with this girl, the best dancer at St. Bernadette with the worst reputation. Who is Cha-Cha Di Gregorio? A small but memorable part. I mean, she's even got her own Barbie doll for Pete's sake. One of my absolute favorite random subgenres of musicals, fake musicals, is up next. The $800 clue is Steve Martin's character, Charles Hayden Savage, sings the song Which of the Pickwick Triplets Did It in the musical Death Razzle Dazzle as part of season 3 of this comedy drama mystery series. What is Only Murders in the Building? I love this show. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it. It just started its 4th season and it's already so good. Season 3, though, is a musical theater lover's dream. Tons of musical numbers, all by the popular team of Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, and lots of Broadway jokes, but there's also a ton of Broadway performers in that season. Ashley Park, Linda Eamon, Jackie Hoffman, Wesley Taylor, Jeremy Shamos, the list goes on. And the song, Which of the Pickwick Triplets Did It, is a rapid-fire patter song, and it's incredible.
Which of the Pickwick triplets did it? Who of the crew would commit this this crime? Which little brat made mommy go splat? Which favorite sin will be doing hard time? Which of the Pickwick triplets did it? Which little putz had the guts to kill?
Let's pretend it's Sunday with biblical musicals and the $800 clue. This musicalization of the Book of Genesis with a score by Stephen Schwartz has never played Broadway. It opened in London's West End in 1991 and regionally in the US at the Paper Mill Playhouse in 1997. What is Children of Eden? Though the musical hasn't had any real commercial success, it's had quite a life in amateur and regional productions. And at least one of the songs from it, Lost in the Wilderness, is a favorite audition song for many tenors out there.
Hey, what have you got to lose, boy, when already we are lost in the wilderness? And where we are headed, boy, I couldn't even guess.
And closing out the round with a cast party, the $800 clue is, this musical opens with an auction of old theater memorabilia. What is Phantom of the Opera? How many of you are kicking yourselves right now? Remember, the musical starts with an auction and a frail old Raoul is there bidding. It finishes with lot 666, the chandelier. It's time now, my Broadway babies, for the big show, the main event. It's the $1,000 round. Cue that dramatic music. Do y'all sing along to that too? Dun, dun, dun. Anyways, good luck, players. Let's take one last trip to the Garden State, New Jersey, with the $1,000 clue. New Jersey has a new crime fighter after scientist Melvin Ferd III is dumped in a vat of radioactive goo in this off-Broadway musical set in the fictional town of Tromaville, New Jersey. What is The Toxic Avenger? Based on the 1984 splatter horror film of the same name, the musical traded in the gore for laughs and boasted music by David Byrne and book and lyrics by another one of my favorite people on the planet, Joe DiPietro. The pair also gave us Memphis and Diana the musical, which I will forever be a non-apologetic super fan of. Don't come for Diana the musical around me. A London production of The Toxic Avenger was filmed and is available to view on Broadway HD. Sponsor me, Broadway HD. Wink. Graduating now from high school musicals with the $1,000 clue. In Joe Iconis's Be More Chill, high school junior Jeremy is offered a special high-tech pill called This that contains a tiny computer designed to make someone cool. What is a squip is the right answer. Like that squip. I like that P. My old drama teacher, Mr. Pearson, would be proud of my P's in squip. SQUIP stands for Super Quantum Unit Intel Processor. After Jeremy takes the SQUIP in the musical, it manifests as a super cool being inside Jeremy's mind, originally played by Jason Tam. Our final time in the fake musical category brings us the $1,000 clue. In Seinfeld, Jerry dates the understudy for this real-life legendary star of stage, screen, and song, who is starring in the musical Rochelle Rochelle in the sitcom. Who is Bette Midler is the correct answer. The episode in question, called The Understudy, was the season 6 finale. Rochelle Rochelle was a movie the Seinfeld gang had seen back in season 4 with a memorable tagline.
A young woman's strange erotic journey from Milan to Minsk.
Erotic journey from Milan to Minsk.
Oh, Rochelle Rochelle. A young girl's strange erotic journey from Milan to Minsk?
Yeah.
That strange erotic journey apparently took the property to Broadway, but when star Bette Midler is knocked out by George Costanza during a Broadway League softball game, Kramer nurses her back to health. It's a great episode, and Miss Midler even sings a snippet from this phony musical.
Well, you made a long journey from Milan to Minsk. Rochelle, Rochelle. You never stopped hoping, now you're in the Pinsk. Rochelle, Rochelle. When the naysayers neighed, you picked up your pace. You said, nothing's gonna stop me, so get out of my face. I'm having adventures all over the place. Rochelle, Rochelle. What do you think?
Hope that fake musical category wasn't too hard. I know it requires some outside knowledge you might not have, but that's, you know, the fun part about Broadway Jeopardy, right? The $1,000 clue for the biblical musicals category is this song cycle was the very first show in the New Amsterdam Theater after Disney renovated it in 1997. The concert-like show played 6 performances before The Lion King moved in. What is King David is the correct answer. That was a hard one. The musical had a score by Alan Menken and Tim Rice, who had collaborated on Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast after both films' original lyricist, the great Howard Ashman, passed away. But King David would be their first full score written together. The piece was chosen to open the gorgeously renovated New Amsterdam Theater, in part so that the renovations could get talked about in the press before the soon-to-be smash hit Lion King opened and stole all that press away. And our final $1,000 clue in the cast party category is this musical's title shares its name with a Christian hymn from the 1700s. What is Rock of Ages? Rock of Ages is the 2009 rock jukebox musical that notoriously, on Broadway at least, allowed bar service during the show. Everyone was given these little plastic lights that looked like lighters you could hold up during the show, and a bar person would come take your order. Totally not distracting at all, and people definitely use this feature responsibly. There was actually a similar question about Rock of Ages, the hymn, on the actual Jeopardy back in 2015 that had hilarious results.
Hymns is the category for final. Players, here is the clue for you. A Christian hymn and a Jewish holiday hymn are both titled this. Also the name of a 2009 Tony-nominated musical. Over to Choyan. What is... Kinky Boots, yes indeed. Whenever people go to temple or go to church, they sing Kinky Boots.
We've reached the final Jeopardy round, everyone. Time to tally up your scores and decide how confident you feel in the category Shows About Show Business, looking at some theater or theater-adjacent themed musicals. Make your wagers, players. Okay, everyone ready? PJ? Danny? Brian? Everyone? All right. Here is your final clue. In Annie Get Your Gun, our heroine finds that there's no business like show business when she joins the legendary Wild West show put on by this master showman of the Old West. Who is Buffalo Bill Cody? The real-life showman started his legendary Wild West show in 1883, and it would tour the world until 1913. Besides the real-life Annie Oakley and her husband Frank Butler, other celebrities of the Old West to tour with the shows were Chief Sitting Bull and the real Calamity Jane. And that's this week's game! How did you all do this week? Be sure to let me know your scores in the comments. I love hearing from you guys and seeing how you all did. A huge thank you again to Maggie and her wonderful game, Cast Party. Again, I'm not sponsored. It was just a really nice gesture that I really appreciated, and it's a great game with a bunch of amazing trivia. I will, though, put a link to purchase the game if you're interested in the video description, just so you have an easy place to go find it. Also, I stupidly forgot to mention last week that if you liked my Schmigadoon shirt I was wearing, I do sell them, and actually lots of other Schmigadoon related designs in my merch shop. And it is a fabulous way to support me and the channel while also getting some really fun swag. A big thank you as always to my wonderful Patreon patrons for their support. It really means the world, guys, truly. And again, if you enjoyed this week's game and want to help ensure that these videos can get made weekly, please consider sharing this video or the other episodes with your friends and family on social media. And make sure you're subscribed and you liked the video. I'll be back next week with 26 all new questions, but until then, I'm Mark Bonani, this is Broadway by Ghostlight. Thanks for playing.